Thanks for staying with us on SABC News. In breaking news coming in, Kenya's Chief Justice Martha Koome says the postponement of the elections in some areas did not result in voter suppression to the detriment of Raila Odinga. Koome says the court found that there were no discrepancies between the votes cast for the president and those cast for the other positions. The court also found that the postponement of the election in some constituencies did not affect the outcome of the presidential vote. Let's get more on the story with SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena in studio with us. A very good afternoon to you. So it was found no widespread voter suppression, no ballot stuffing, and the Supreme Court saying that Raila Odinga didn't advance proper evidence to back up his claims.
Yes, indeed. Also, there was no vote rigging that they could determine as the court. And also the fact that there was no watertight case in relation to the announcement of the results, and therefore the court saying that the result stands and it's 50+1, and also indicating that the president-elect got the numbers that the chairperson did announce, and therefore dismissing the petition or the query by the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, and therefore clearly William Ruto should be celebrating. Maybe we should dip in a bit and listen to what is happening right now, because all the legal teams who presented for both and against Raila, and also both against William Ruto and for William Ruto, are responding to the announcement. Maybe let's take a listen.
A persuasive brief, and we thank all the advocates who appeared before this court for the good work that they have done. And of course, as a society, we feel extremely proud that they have been able to raise the profile of the advocates in this country a notch higher from their presentation. So, my lady and my lords, it's not lost to us that at the end of these proceedings, and once we are able to get your judgment after 21 days, that it is democracy and the Kenyan people who are the winners. The decision today, in a way, validates the choices that were made by the Kenyan people on the 8th of August, and they also help to build confidence in the institutions that manage the elections and the court. We recognize that no country is born as a democracy, and that it is a process, and the process of challenging an election, as has happened before this court, is part of the processes of building confidence within the electoral system. And we thank all the petitioners for choosing to challenge the results before this court. But at the end of the day, Kenya stands tall as a beacon of democracy, and we're very grateful that we've had this opportunity also as a law society to appear before the court and to give an amicus brief which the court has had time to consider. So we thank you and we wish you a good day. I know it has been a long 14 days, but you can rest, and we'll be looking forward to the decision that you deliver within 21 days. Thank you so much, my lady and justices of the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have been asked by the President of our court to react to your submissions, and in so doing, I am obliged to say that we are truly humbled by the statements that you have just made. More humbled because those statements come from both sides of the divide. And thank you for appreciating what we have to do within a very short while. Thank you for appreciating that it wasn't our wish that we were doing what we were doing. We were doing the wish of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the laws of the Republic, the facts of the cases that you placed before us, and the evidence in rebuttal. We know that, and we have repeatedly said this, the President and I, whenever we have had time to talk to you in other fora, that we are incomplete without this side of the bar. We are incomplete without the advocates. We thank you. We will get opportunity to do that in the main judgment, in the reasoned judgment. But we really appreciate your industry. We were impressed by the submissions you took. And we were impressed, and we said this the last 3 days, I'll tell you something about that in a minute, by how deeply you believed in your clients' cases. That we think is a mark of an extremely grown legal profession, and we ask that you do not bring the bar down. You keep taking it up. In any contest of whatever nature, and even if we say there are no winners and losers, and even if we say that the winners are the Constitution and the people of Kenya, the truth is that some 6 million Kenyans will not be happy today. But that's the nature of the work we do. What we hope, and we hope you can advise your clients and our brothers and sisters that are the Kenyan people, that is what was expected. One side had to win. One side had to be in total or a great extent of compliance with the Constitution and electoral law than the other side. That's how we saw it. We thank you very much. We, the 7 of us, have not slept since we parted company on Friday. I think it is showing on our faces. And we thank you that you appreciate that we work under difficult circumstances, especially because of time.
And so we come out of those visuals, the Supreme Court announcing there that the election results in Kenya will be upheld. SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena is still in studio with us. Just give us some context into why it was so important for that Supreme Court to make the decision, for fairness to have been there, and the challenges around elections in Kenya.
When you look at the history of Kenya in terms of elections, there was a time where elections were marred by violence. And I think in 2017, the observers, including the Supreme Court then, took a decision to put forward proposal in terms of tightening the electoral process. And the Electoral Commission did try to do just that. And that is why today this ruling, when the Chief Justice is making this ruling, it is in line with what was done for many years to try and strengthen the electoral process in Kenya. It is still not perfect, but as the Deputy Chief Justice just pointed out, that at least everybody was given a fair chance to argue his case, and they brought powerful legal representatives and legal minds in Kenya. And therefore, it did assist. But also, when you look at violence, I think Kenyans who are watching, both in Kenya, on the continent, and in the diaspora, are satisfied because they followed the processes. And therefore, I can't see any violence. And you had the legal team of Raila Odinga accepting the outcome of the judgment and the announcement by the Chief Justice. And therefore, I think Kenya today in East Africa, on the continent, in the world, it is a better country because it has demonstrated to all of us around the world that when you have disputes and there are mechanisms to resolve your disputes, follow that rather than seeing millions of ordinary people dying because of people fighting for positions.
SABC News International Editor Sophie Mokoena joining us in studio there. The visuals you can see on your screen are coming from the United Kingdom, where the Conservative Party is shortly set to announce its new leader. Liz Truss is widely expected to be the next Conservative leader, therefore the next British Prime Minister. We'll find more about that at the top of the hour. My colleague Nompumelelo Siziba is standing by to take you through your local, international, market, sports and business news. It's good afternoon from me. Stay safe.